Hi, my name is Bob Johnston. I'm the director of the Drug and Alcohol Treatment Program at the Wichita Falls Faith Mission. And I'm here with James Verdell today. James has been with us for an extended period of time. How many months now, James?
Almost 9 months.
Almost 9 months. James, I'm going to ask you same question I ask everyone who sits in that chair. How'd you get here? How did you get into that chair?
Well, I was in church as a kid and I loved God really a lot. And then at 15, I started rebellion and hanging out with the wrong crowd. Started drinking alcohol. And then at 17, I was introduced to meth. And then I didn't do it very much, but I was kind of scared of
Mhm.
it. And then 18, my sister died of leukemia, acute myeloid leukemia. And I got mad at God and I ran from God. I was really close to him and I ran from him.
Let's back up on that a minute. So, when you were young, your parents took you to church.
Oh yeah, every day I was in church every Wednesday, every Sunday, every thing they had for the kids. I was there and I loved God a lot.
Mm.
I was really close to God. I mean, we prayed every night on our knees. I mean, we read the Bible every day. I loved God a lot when I was a kid, but I just didn't understand why. When my sister died, why he took her. And it just made me hate him. I mean, have hate towards him.
Got mad at God.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I didn't
So
understand.
that's when you really got heavy into it. What was your drug of choice then?
It was mostly marijuana, but I got a hold of meth, and it was like, oh wow, this new made me feel like invincible in a way,
Yeah.
and I could go for hours and hours and do my schoolwork and play football and still hang out with my friends late and drink at night, and they started to be meth after that.
Okay. So you said you had a son.
Yeah,
He is how old?
13 years old.
13 years old. So you and your son, have you always been close throughout all this?
Yes, my son was born addicted to drugs because of his mom. So we were always close. So me and my mom got him as a baby,
Yeah.
and I raised him for 8.5 years until my mom died in 2020. But my son and me always had a close relationship. I mean, I was always daddy. I'd go to work, I'd come home and run. My son would run out to me,
Mm.
daddy, daddy, and I always loved my son. I always was there for him no matter what. I never left him out of my life, and I mean, I was there every night for him,
But you
at
were still
work.
doing drugs at this time.
Yeah, when I was at work, yeah.
Okay, but not in front of your son,
No, not
around
in
your
front of my
son.
son, just at work, in the bathroom, whatever have you.
Okay, so now you got here. So the reason you got here, at some point, this got out of control,
Oh yeah,
and you got crossways with the law.
yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, I got tickets, basically. I never really had no. I had one time in 2004, I got arrested for drugs and I got probation and I got off of it. And that was back when I was, I don't know, 21, 22, somewhere in there. I never got any more trouble with that, but I had some tickets that were pinned a long time, that I got in Wichita County. Um, I was down and out, from the drugs. I couldn't get out of the cycle. It was a repeating cycle. And I went to jail and ended up going to jail for the tickets. The drugs got me kicked out of my cousin's house.
Mm.
And so I met you at Burt Burnett at the church. I went to the church that one time, seen you preach,
Remember that?
seen you
Yeah.
preaching, and like God was telling me, this is the God that's going to tell you what to do for the next year. And I was confused and didn't know what he's talking about. Of course, we never do really until
Yeah.
God shows us.
Right.
And I thought it was at the church. I thought he was preaching somewhere else. And then my ex called me the very next day, and said that the Faith Mission had a year program and it was a Christian program, and she said, I would think you would love it. And so I called, and you said your name, and I thought, man, that name sounds familiar. So then you said wait 2 weeks, and I got clean off the drugs besides the marijuana. I had it in my system still, but I got clean off everything else. And I waited and I prayed for God to just break me. I got down on my knees and I surrendered because I was tired of the same never ending process. Get a job,
Yeah.
lose everything, start over. Get a job, lose everything, start over. And here I am with you. Yeah.
Wash, rinse, repeat. But we're about to get out of that cycle, aren't we?
Yes, sir, we
Yes,
are.
sir.
Yes, sir.
You got a few more months. We're going to get out of that cycle. We're going to do something different.
Yes, sir.
So, what are your plans going forward? You only have a few more months here. So, what's the
Mm.
plan moving forward?
Basically, my plan is I'm waiting on God. mainly because I know I have a calling in the ministry, I believe. I just, I dream about it all the time, and I just, it's in my heart, it's in my mind a lot.
Mhm.
And I know it's probably, like some kind of teaching or preaching or some kind of ministry, but it's just a passion of mine. But I know I'm going to get my son back. Number one, a job, my son back, start
Yeah.
over, work on getting everything built up, save money in the transition house, get a car, things like that. But I know what my passion is my ministry, and I know God's going to bring it to me eventually.
Okay, so you mentioned the transition house, so we got to talk about that.
Yeah.
So we have a 13-month program, and then you have an option to stay in one of the two transition
Yeah.
houses behind the mission. You pay $250 a month, and it
Yeah.
covers all your rent and utilities,
Yes.
and you have to have a job outside the mission.
Yes.
That gives you time
Mhm.
to collect money, to make more
Oh,
money,
yeah.
put money aside for your car and for everything else you need.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good perk.
It's an excellent perk. I mean, you don't see that anywhere else in any rehab you ever go to. They just kick you out on the street. Boom, you're done. Whether you have
Yeah.
a house or not. I've been to a couple of them. I know. But I mean, no, the mission has been a blessing to me. God put me here for a reason. There's no other doubt about it. This was God's plan. And I know what God's plan is. This is going to continue with the transition house. And then after that, so far, we'll go from there, but I'm just waiting on God.
So what do you think your greatest takeaway is from your time at the mission? What would you say? This is the thing that changed my life.
How to learn the relationship with God, the
Yeah.
closeness, how I learned to have a relationship. I thought I had a relationship with God, but I learned how more about it in here
Mhm.
than I've ever learned, and it just gave me a hunger for it. It's about the relationship with God. That's my greatest takeaway, because without that relationship with God, you don't have nothing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You got to start with God first, and that's, to be honest with you, I mean, yeah, the camaraderie, the friends, but the main thing I've learned in here, the greatest thing, is the takeaway was to be the relationship with God, the closeness.
You got anything else you'd like to add?
No, sir.
All right. Well, James, we thank you for coming today, and look forward to you finishing this up and heading back to your son. Amen.
Yes, sir.